Recent brain imaging technology reinforces the adolescent development literature. From the prefrontal cortex to the limbic area, the teenage brain is undergoing dramatic changes during adolescence in ways that affect teens' ability to reason, to weigh consequences for their decisions, and to delay gratification long enough to make careful short and long-term choices. Many children who commit serious crimes are victims of abuse and neglect. In such cases, an inquiry should investigate the child's background and circumstances. Society is so quick to jump on these children after something tragic happens. But where was society when the children were living in circumstances that very likely provoked this behavior? I feel that exposure to violence or criminal activities within the community is also a cause of juvenile delinquency. When juveniles are incarcerated with adults, they are subject to the detrimental influences of adult criminals, poor adult role models, and instill damaging perceptions into adolescents' minds. Although the state tries more children as adults, may reduce the actual time spent in prison. Studies indicate that the crime rate increases as a result. Incarcerated juveniles pick up extremely bad habits of convicted felons. Although the courts intend to deter juveniles from crime by imposing harsh punishments, it appears that imposing adult sentences may be the responsibility of trying youth to adult courts. Juvenile courts are taking the easy way out instead of facing the realities of the situation. 2% of large-scale studies indicate that juveniles who receive harsher penalties when tried as adults are not scared straight. In fact, after they are released, they tend to reoffend sooner and more often those treated in juvenile system. Children as young as 11 years old are being sent to adult prisons. 96% of these kids live in abusive homes and are being abused or live in violent neighborhoods. Holding a 12-year-old to the same standard as a 30-year-old when they don't have the same mental development is wrong. The point is, while youth should be punished for their crimes, it should be done in a developmentally appropriate way. Any parent would know that it makes little sense not to punish a 10-year-old the same as a 17-year-old. It's ironic that society recognizes 16-year-old as a kid who doesn't know what he is doing when having sex, but a 14-year-old, the government wants to try them as an adult because he should know better. Public officials fail to adequately consider the needs of juveniles in their creation and enactment of the juvenile justice system. Adolescents accused of crimes are the victims, whether innocent or not, of an underfunded, unsupported justice system that robs them of second chances. Young criminals face intense negative prejudice from society and the government. The statement reiterated that young children should not be questioned by police or courts unless a parent or guardian is present, that they should never be allowed to waive their right to an attorney, and that children who are accused of a serious crime should undergo a full medical evaluation, including a psychiatric assessment. A life-trained but severely harsh punishment breeds nothing productive, and a mandatory life sentence diminishes a juvenile's chance to reform and become a productive member of society. Clearly, such harsh punishments can be excessive and can easily destroy young lives. Depending on the gravity of the offense, a young person must be tried as an adult so that the youth will think twice about breaking the law and hurting people in their community. Juvenile systems exist to ascertain and enact what is best for youth. Often, this entails rehabilitation, which gives juvenile criminals the ability to develop their positive character traits and diminishes their danger to society. The court stated that instead of sentencing juveniles, they should focus on rehabilitation. The state should act as a parental figure rather than a prosecutor or a judge.